Switch, dude. Well, I have officially reached the scientifically proven speedrun retirement age of a quarter of a century. So this is officially the last run of my career. So let's go out with a bang. Anyway, hello everybody, my name is Catalyst. With me is...
Capitaine Toinon.
Wonderful French pronunciation. I love it.
Hell yeah.
This is Dark Souls any %, so this is going to be a pretty short run. So I'll explain before I start really quickly about what class and gift that I'm starting with. So I'm starting as Pyromancer. There are two main reasons for that. The primary one is air rolls, which is a glitch that I'll explain later on, but essentially the Pyro set that you start with allows me to perform a glitch. What's the second reason, actually? Oh yeah, I can start with the Pyro hand, which is used for a wrong one. Yeah. That's right, yeah. As a gift, I'm using the Black Fire Bombs, which are going to be useful, especially on the first boss, but even on the second boss of the run, actually. But that's more like really something that makes it a little bit more consistent and fast, but it's especially useful in the first boss, which you're going to get to see. So anyway, time is going to start in... Please handle the button, sir.
I have the honor.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. So first things first that I'm going to explain is that throughout the run you're going to see me toggling my right or left weapons. This is because that actually allows me to start sprinting a little bit sooner when I stop sprinting and I regenerate some stamina. So like this, exactly. The two toggles on the right hand, you saw that right there. I'm gonna go ahead and climb the first ladder. I'm gonna unequip the hilt and then equip it in my left hand, because toggling is not the only way to actually get this little speed boost. Blocking is the same thing as well. So out of doors, for example, like these, I'm gonna actually go ahead and block. But yeah, that's just so you understand why I'm toggling pretty much constantly throughout the run. So here's the first boss. That's the Asylum Demon. I'm gonna use the Black Fire Bombs that I talked about as a gift. Here we go. We got a jump. We roll that and 2 more fire bombs. And the boss is dead, so that was pretty good. Yeah, there we go. You better cheer that. Okay, so the starting items here, the shield and the axe, I'm not really going to pick up because I don't need them. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and get the hollow out of the way by doing a running attack. And as you can see, I'm still constantly toggling. And here I'm going to show off a pretty cool strategy. It's actually slow for real time, but normally we time the runs using in-game time. And funnily enough, if you quit out next to something that's breakable, the stand-up animation actually deals damage. So I'm going to be able to go ahead and break this wall next to Oscar, like this, which is pretty funny.
Don't ask why, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the point is to like not get you stuck, essentially. But yeah, here's going to be a boulder, and I go hit, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about that. That was all planned. I just wanted to ruin the no-hit run so you guys wouldn't be on your toes, you know what I'm saying? Here I'm gonna roll, which is kind of funny because the hollows can actually not just see you, but they can hear you as well. So rolling actually aggroes this guy a little bit earlier. I'm gonna parry this guy, get him out of the way. It's a little bit precise. I make sure to stand on the left side, so I parry him out of the way, and we're gonna go ahead and leave the asylum. So I should also say that jumping out of the asylum now into a cutscene, I'm gonna open up a menu. I'm going to open the key menu, essentially, and that's going to allow me to skip a little kind of fade-in that normally shows up that tells you that you're supposed to, like, level up and stuff. Well, I messed it up, so it's not going to happen. But this is the fade-up that I was going to skip. So, yeah, thanks, guys. I'm going to heal up here just to make sure I don't die, because that wouldn't be very funny. Let's get around these hollows, and first things first, we go... That's a nice jump. The ice skating hollows jumping over me head, very nice. We make sure that we go to the first area of the game, which is the Undead Burg, and we're gonna go ahead and pay a visit to the Undead Merchant. I'm gonna heal again because I don't want to die. That would be pretty bad, like I said. And we're gonna perform the first very big actual glitch of the run, which is called Prom Swap. This guy's trying to hit me as well, but we're good. So Prom Swap essentially is a glitch where I'm gonna abuse the fact that this game has a very bad port. And essentially what I can utilize is clicking the left mouse button while clicking confirm at the same time on my controller. Now I have both bounds to the controller, so you're not really gonna see that. You're not gonna see me reaching. You're not really gonna see me reaching for the mouse. But essentially what I'll do here is I'm gonna buy some arrows, I'm gonna buy the rapier, I'm gonna buy the club, the short bow, and then I do a prompt swap. So a prompt swap essentially allows me to transfer the confirmation for a purchase from one tab of items to another tab. And that means that I can purchase an item that is in the same index as the first item that I selected, even though that next item that I'm purchasing, I do not have enough resources to buy. And this allows me to get the residence key, which I'm going to use immediately here on these doors, right here, where I'm going to be picking up the gold pine resin. The gold pine resin is one of the items that is crucial for this run because, well, not really in the fastest route, but in this route it is crucial because it allows me to not only kill Taurus Demon very quickly because he's actually weak to lightning, but it's also going to allow me to go ahead and cut the tail of the dragon that's going to be, or Drake I should say, that's going to be on the next bridge. So here we're going to be approaching the second boss, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I equip the reinforced club that I purchased. The reinforced club being a pretty good weapon that's actually good even on like soul level 1, which means without leveling. I'm going to apply the gold pine resin, and in this fight I'm going to use a strategy that one of the few strats in this game I actually discovered is the black firebomb strat. So I'm going to dodge his first attack, I'm going to make sure to attack, then throw a firebomb which is going to stagger him, and during that stagger I can go ahead and hammer him. But the greatest thing, thank you, the greatest thing about throwing the black firebomb is that normally if you see in the top left there's a stamina bar. You need to have any kind of stamina in order to go ahead and perform any action. During the black firebomb throw, I'm gonna be dealing damage, but at the same time I'm regenerating stamina, so that way I can go ahead and keep on attacking. That's kind of the crucial part of the whole story. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and aggro the Drake using the bow and the arrows. I'm gonna apply gold pine resin again, and I'm gonna go ahead and dodge this arrow, and then 1 and 2, and I did 3 for whatever reason. I guess good things come in threes. Okay, we're dead.
Wow, okay.
But we got the Drake sword, so that's the main thing. It doesn't really matter what happens now. But the main goal here was to basically navigate around the Drake, make sure that we aggro him on the bridge, and then dodge around the arrows and cut the tail, which gives you a weapon. And the weapon is really good for the next boss, Iron Golem, because right now the main weapon that I'm going to be using is the Dragon Tooth for this run, and I'm only going to obtain that in the Anolondo area. And on top of that, I do not have the statistics right now to be able to use it. And that's the reason why I need to get the Drake Sword in order to, you know, be able to get past the boss, because without that, yeah, we wouldn't get into the mid-game area of Anolondo. With Anolondo on mind, I must say that this run, essentially, or I should say this game, has kind of 4 basic goals to kind of complete in order to be able to finish the game, right? So number 1 is to reach Anolondo, the mid-game area. Number 2 is to obtain the Lord Vessel, which allows you to go ahead and collect souls in order to enter the last area of the game, which is the 3rd goal, killing the lords in order to obtain the big souls and then be able to enter the last area of the game. And then obviously goal number 4 is killing the last boss. However, in this run I'm gonna completely skip the step number 3, which is killing the Lord souls, and that's because of the wrong warp glitch, which obviously we'll get to into a little bit more later, but that is something to keep in mind because that is what makes this run actually happen and what the entire route is kind of based on, essentially. Alright, so here I'm going to go ahead and get around the Hellkite Drake again. I'm going to go ahead and try to use the the bow again. But the problem is I'm going to run out of arrows. However, that's not really a big problem. I'm going to heal up here to make sure I'm full HP. Dodge the arrows. There's going to be 2 coming right now. Aggro. Go to the side. Wait for the Drake to drop down. That's fine by me. Pick up the souls. And okay, we're good. So here... Here, as I'm pulling the lever for the gates, I do some menuing. The main thing is to move around the Drake Sword. I'll talk about why I moved it around a little bit later, but essentially I want to make sure that it's on top of the bow so that I can swap from the bow very quickly to the Drake Sword. And then I also drop items that I do not really need anymore, so they do not clutter my inventory. Here I make sure that I get through the Undead Parish, and we're going to be approaching the first very big sequence break of the run, which is called the Sense Gate skip, and I'm very happy to have Captain next to me, because he's one of the people who actually discovered the skip, so please go ahead and mention and explain. Yeah, there we go. Explain what's actually going to be happening here.
Yeah, so the main purpose of this skip is going to be able to enter Sand Fortress early. So Kara is going to sit here and just repose this enemy in a very specific position.
I'm a bit too high.
Not this position.
Yeah, this is not this position.
So he wants to be a tiny bit lower, and doing so, hopefully this time, there we go. You can see the camera goes on a top-down view. This is what we call a death cam. And when the game enters these states, the game kind of assumes that your next logical step is going to be to die. And so now the game stops loading or deloading new assets. Since Dark Souls is an open world game, the game loads new areas as you walk through them. But now it's not going to do that anymore. And, oh my god, okay.
So that's unlucky.
That's an unfortunate thing that happened. Catalystz needs to rest at the bonfire right now. And because it is faster, we don't kill the hollow when we do the repost. But sometimes he can be fast enough that he gets close to the bonfire, and now he cannot rest anymore. So he's just gonna do the glitch again. But small time loss, but it's fine.
Yeah, I wish I could blame the RNG, but honestly, it was me actually messing up the pathing a little bit. So I'm gonna be honest here. So the hollow caught up, and yeah, I had to quit out. You saw me rest at the bonfire. I leveled 3 levels of dexterity. This is to be able to use the rapier, which is going to be actually kind of crucial. Maybe, it depends on the rafters in Anolondo. And I'm too high up again. Okay, let's try that one more time. Should be good. There we go.
So the spot we are at the stairs here are exactly close enough in such a way that the floor of Anolondo is loaded, but far enough that the gates that
Sense Fortress, not
prevents us. Sense Fortress, sorry.
Yeah.
The gate of Sense Fortress that actually prevents us from entering Sense Fortress isn't loaded. And so, after some keyboard menuing...
I'm back on the stairs. I'm trying to turn around right now. Hello? Okay, on the stairs. Now left, and then right. There should be a hole here.
Right.
I'm so sorry. Could I just cut in here for one moment?
Of course.
All right. We have a $100 donation from Anonymous, and they say, "Go Deacon." Now, Anonymous, this is Dark Souls 1, not 3. Now, if you could send us another 100, give us a Dark Souls 1 reference, that'd be splendid. Thank you so much for that $100 donation, Anonymous.
You're almost there.
Thank you for the generous donation, as I'm completely lost and I need to download a new GPS here. So basically there's a bonfire right here, which I rested at right now to reset the hollow. But right now, yeah, there's the bonfire. But I can't find the hole, which is, yeah, that's not a good thing if you can't find the hole. Oh, I was almost there. Come on. Yeah, let me find the Grace again. I mean, bonfire, of course. It's almost the same game. And we should be able to find it. Okay, this is not very good. I'm pretty sure I know where I am, but somehow... Oh! Almost? Almost? Yeah, as you can see, this is not very easy to navigate during, especially because you also have tank controls activated, which means that you're going straight when holding the W key. But you're turning left and right by pressing A and D instead of sort of, you know, having it be very more like intuitive. Okay, this is not very good.
Down here, I think.
I'm on the stairs right now.
Here.
Left. Okay, that's the Grace. On fire, of course. I've been playing too much Elden Ring, guys. Come on, you gotta give me a break. And to the right now, right?
I'm so sorry. Once again, I am going to have to cut in because we have hit $69,000.
Left? It's not left.
Below the stairs. Oh, it's down, I think.
There's the bonfire.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Down left.
Down left?
Yeah.
Oh, this way.
Yeah, this way. Below the stairs. There we go.
I'm trying to go there, holding W and A, but I'm pretty sure I'm back on the stairs right now. Now left. Keep on going. There's the... Okay, so it has to be...
You can quit out and try again, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna try again because this is way too confusing, guys. So, see, I've been playing this game for about 5 years right now, but even I can get lost this way. So, the point is that you need to practice a little bit more. Yeah, well, I was facing in the correct direction, but somehow I wasn't able to actually hit the doorway that I'm looking for. Okay, let's try this one more time. Fortunately, the estimate is high up enough, so if nothing else goes wrong, then we'll be fine. But at this point, I kind of doubt that. All right, well, you're gonna see this for the third time. So let's bait this hollow. He doesn't attack. He's gonna follow us. Let's stand to the left side. Okay, actually got it first try for once. First try on the third try. Yeah. So as I said, I'm actually using keyboard for this because on controller it can be a little bit counterintuitive on how you're supposed to walk around in the tank controls. So now stairs, one more. Now one more turn. There's the bonfire. Hey! Oh.
No, it's here. So you're going in the wrong.
Am I?
Yeah, it's down here.
Oh, I'm just getting hit by the hollow right now. That's not very great. Hello? Left? I'm trying to go left. I'm dead. Okay, well, that's kind of concerning right now. I must say that my navigation skills are suffering quite a bit. It's fine. We'll get in there, okay? This is such a big sequence break that even all of this time loss is actually still, like, all worth it.
Oh, yeah, this saves, like, 15 minutes or something.
Yeah, yeah. So, we got time. It's all good. It's just kind of concerning in a way. Do we have time to plug something? Like sponsors or something? I would appreciate that.
Donations.
You're asking for donations? Good thing I do have some. I have a special one here, it seems like, from Infinity X2K4. They've donated $10 and they say, Reset City is here with you, Catalyst. Happy birthday, avoid memes, and show everyone what world record runs look like.
Not like... not like this, that's for sure. Thank you so much, Infinity. I really appreciate that. So this is the bonfire, and then...
No, down right.
Down right.
There we go, here. Below the stairs.
Yeah. I know what you mean right now. And I'm trying to turn in that direction. But it's not really working. I feel like we need to make this a co-op run, and I need to make Captain do the skip, actually. This is very confusing. Let me rest if I can find the bonfire. Okay, I can't, because the hollow is right there. Now I'm back on the stairs. I'm pretty sure. You can see it. Where's the hollow? Oh, I found it!
So we are now working towards Sense Fortress, and as here is going to quit out, and quitting out will fix the camera, so now the game will go back to normal, and now we are past the gate. So there we go. The gate is closed. Usually, you would need to either kill. Well, you would have to kill Gargles and Quillag, and then you would have to ring the bells, and that would trigger a special cutscenes where you would see giants on top of Sense Fortress opening the gate, and only then you would be able to. But we don't have to do that, thanks to this.
And we're still actually gonna do it later, but that is obviously quite a bit faster because normally you would have to go through Blighttown twice, essentially. Once to open this gate, and then once to kind of go ahead and finish out the things you're supposed to do there. And here I'm going to do one of the bread and butter glitches. I'm going to mess it up slightly, but that's fine. So one of the bread and butter glitches of this run is called the move swap. And the move swap essentially allows me to transfer the part of one weapon's moveset to another. And the way I do that is I use the bow that I purchased from the Undead Merchant. First, I'm going to go ahead and jump here, though, and quit out. This is because the boulder's coming my way, and this way I can reset it to the bottom. And essentially, the move swap, I'm going to jump, I'm going to queue up an action, and during that action, which is going to be in the jump roll, and then during that action, I'm going to queue up L1, which means two-handing the bow. And the bow is the only weapon that you can two-hand in your left hand, right? And during that animation, I'm going to go ahead and swap out the weapon, or I should say the bow, for the weapon of choice that I'm going to be using, which on Iron Golem, the next boss, is going to be the Drake Sword. So that way, I'm going to be two-handing the Drake Sword in my left hand. I'm going to be two-handing the Drake Sword in my left hand. And because the bow has no data for any rolling, plunging, or rolling attacks, it's going to fetch the data from the right hand, which has the rapier right now, which is a fast and thrusting weapon. And its running attack actually hits in 2 ticks, essentially. And I'll be able to do that with the Drake Sword. So here's the move swap. Just like that. So now you can see that in the bottom left. In the bottom left, you can see me two-handing the Drake Sword, which, like I said, you're not supposed to be able to do. So Iron Golem is going to be actually one of the trickiest bosses in this run. There's not that many bosses, actually. But Iron Golem is definitely one of the trickier ones. I'm going to be trying to deal 400 damage below his knee level in order to stagger him, and then another 200 damage to make him fall on his butt. And if I do the setup correctly, I'm going to be able to throw him off the bridge. So let's hope. So here's first running attack. You can see he's hitting in 2 ticks. There's the fist slam. Yeah, turn around. Running attack, stagger. Nice. And 1. And okay, that's fine. One more R1. Plop. And he's gone.
So this is an intended way to kill the boss, if anyone is wondering. So he just falls off the bridge and loses the entire HP.
Yeah.
It's much faster, especially at this point, where we barely have any damage.
Yeah, that's right. Because the Drake Sword, it's a really good weapon in the early game. It's kind of like a little bit of a bait by Miyazaki, right? Like, the early game enemies, you're going to be able to, like, 1 or 2 shot with the Drake Sword. But as soon as you get slightly into the mid-game, like, because the Drake Sword has no scaling, it only has raw damage, it drops off very quickly. So here, entering Analondo, the mid-game area, now we're, you know, into the second part of all the goals that I've lined up. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this bonfire. This is because, basically for safety, because if I died anywhere while running to the Analondo Cathedral, I would be sent all the way back to the Undead Parish, and I would have to do Sense Gate skip again. As you could see, I wasn't very good at Sense Gate skip, so I don't want to do that again. So instead, I'll take that bonfire, and if I die, I'll be spawning there. Of course, if you're new to watching Dark Souls, bonfires are kind of like checkpoints and also places where you can level up. I'm going to jump down the elevator, jump down on these rafters, and start running to the left. Then I'm going to jump on this balcony, and I'm going to make sure to heal up. That is because there's going to be a ladder coming up. And on the ladder, there's Painting Guardians right here, and they can actually go ahead and snipe me with their daggers. So I hope that doesn't really happen. I'm also going to do some extra menuing, make sure that I put the Drake Sword to the top of my inventory. That's going to be very useful for later, so it's not in the way. And first Painting Guardian completely pieced out. I'm going to listen for a dagger. Okay, we're good. And second Guardian didn't troll me, so that's also very good. So that was very smooth. It looked really easy. But if you get unlucky, the Painting Guardians can cause an absolute hell. This is kind of like the story of this game, honestly. Like 9 out of 10 times, you're going to be completely fine. And then one time, you're going to see RNG that you've never seen before. And you're just going to go ahead and cry, essentially. And then reset. And that's basically the only thing that you can do. However, this is a marathon, so we cannot really reset, even though I wish I could. Alright, so through the rest of Analondo, I'm going to run around the cathedral. And there's going to be these Batwing demons. You can see them on the right side of your screen right now. And I'm going to be listening to spears that they're throwing, lightning spears. And hopefully I'll be able to dodge them. I can survive one of them. This attack from this Guardian is also completely useless. I can just run past. There's 2 attacks that can happen here. I got the one that I have to roll, so I'll roll it. There's one spear, dodged it. Okay, second part of the rafters. Well, it's not rafters, it's like a battlement, but... There's also silver knight archers here. I'm gonna look back, there's no spears there. Another thing that is important to point out is actually the camera in this game is like its own entity.
Yeah.
Gonna wait here a little bit just to make sure that we're safe. Also, hello. And goodbye. So I used the Drake Sword R2 there, which is like basically the skill of the weapon. And because the Silver Knight gave me such RNG that he didn't get out of the way, I had to make sure that, you know, I blasted him out of the way. So here I'm going to take this bonfire. This is because I need to go ahead and level up right now. And the reason I need to level up is to be able to go ahead and use the next weapon that I'll be picking up, which is the Dragon Tooth, which I'll use for the next bosses. I level up 18 endurance, and I also level up 27 strength. 27 strength, like I said, that's the requirement for the weapon, and 18 endurance is nice because without it, I would basically have like no stamina. So any running attack that I would do with the Moose Swap would basically leave me with no stamina. And right now with 18 endurance, it's going to leave me with at least a little bit. That being said, still, any kind of running attack that I'll do with the weapon is still going to consume the amount of stamina for the regular weapon, not for like the bow or anything like that. And as such, I'll have to go ahead and time my running attacks in such a way that the next attack the boss does is going to go ahead and miss me. So there you saw me pick up the Dragon Tooth. And I'm going to do a little skip here over the staircase. This is, you know, one of the things that even casual players probably found. You could see that this area wasn't really loaded, but as soon as I dropped on the ground, the stairs loaded magically. And coming up is going to be one of the most, one of the trickiest boss fights of the run, or the trickiest really, which is Ornstein and Smo. It's a dual boss fight. I'm going to perform Moose Swap here again. Or I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to try again. There we go. And there's 3 openers that I can get. Don't clap right now. I'm gonna wait for this boss fight to be over. Okay, so I got dash. I'm gonna go to the left. The goal is to really separate Ornstein and Smo as much as possible. Okay, I got a shovel, so I'm gonna try to run towards him for him to jump away. He did. Oh, that's really unfortunate. I'm still alive though. It's fine, guys. There's a lightning. There's a shovel. Okay, that was really unlucky, I must admit. I don't really know what I could have done a little bit better there. Because essentially the goal is to make as much distance between Ornstein and Smo as possible. But what ended up happening is that I got an attack that I sort of was pretty much unable to dodge. Because both of them were attacking at the same time. So if I roll early enough to dodge the first attack, the second attack was going to hit me. But if I roll too late, the first attack was going to hit me instead. So we're going to go ahead and try that again. That was also the reason why I dropped kind of like in a peachy way here on the stairs to make sure to, you know, not take any damage. But it wasn't enough to actually survive the fight. So we're going to try again. The fight's going to be a little bit messier now. Because when the cutscene is there, you get different AI than when the cutscene isn't there. Okay, I got a dash. I'm going to just stay in the middle, roll away, do a running attack. I'm going to go ahead and bait a jump attack, hopefully, from this guy. It's not a bait attack. It's not a jump attack. Let me go ahead and focus a little bit, actually. I'm going to go ahead and hide behind this pillar. This is because no ranged attacks can get me. As you can see, there was a lightning coming from Ornstein.
Yeah, unfortunately, as soon as the speedrun strat doesn't work out for this boss, you don't really have any other options than just waiting it out and wait. Yeah, exactly. Just get a double backstep from Smo. Like sometimes he just like wants to get away, and that makes the fights so much easier. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So as you can see, besides me dealing double damage with the Moose Swap, I'm also doing double poise damage. Poise is basically a statistic in this game where if you break the poise of a certain boss, it's gonna go ahead and stagger. Okay, I have to roll that. There we go. It's gonna stagger like this. Well, not like that.
Oh.
It's gonna stagger like this, and that's why I can go ahead and basically stagger like Smo. Because I'm dealing enough poise damage to be able to. I'm dealing enough poise damage to be able to go ahead and stagger him, and then I do another running attack to stagger him again. The problem with Smo specifically in phase 2 is that he can jump away, and when he's jumping away, the stagger's not going to happen. And the same thing is also with you can deal like counter hit damage but it's not usually enough to like skip any kind of attacks. So if he jumps away, he basically just doesn't stagger, and that's not very good. So there's Guinevere. She gives me the Lord Vessel, and the Lord Vessel allows me to actually go ahead and start warping between bonfires, which is, you know, that's really crucial, because not only does it open up the game a lot, but it's going to allow me to go ahead and actually go ahead and perform the wrong warp later. In order to go ahead and access the final area of the game, the Kiln of the First Flame that I talked about earlier, I need to go ahead and ring the second Bell of Awakening, or well, both of them anyway. Now I'm gonna ring the first one first.
Yeah, that's one of the pretty common questions. Is like, well, you've done Sensegate skip already. Why do you need to ring the bells now that you don't need to access Sense Fortress anymore? Ringing the bells opens Sense Fortress, but it also wakes up Fremt, one of the snakes that is in Firelink Shrine, and we need him in order to be able to access the Firelink Altar. We could use the other snake, but we would need to kill 4 Kings and Sif, which is much slower. So despite the fact that we've done Sensegate skip already, we're still gonna kill Gargles and Quelag.
Yep. But rather than killing Gargles and Quelag earlier on, it's actually much better to do it right now, because I have the Dragon Tooth, which is going to go ahead and completely wreck these bosses. Yeah. Well, especially the Gargles, you're going to see that right now. You saw me perform Mooswap again, this time off of actually climbing up a ladder. That's again because I'm stuck in an animation, and I'm able to queue up another animation, which is, you know, two-handing the bow, like I mentioned before. So there's Gargles, as you can see. It's an early game boss, and like, not only do I kill them very fast, but also, there you go. I staggered them very quickly as well. So here I'm gonna do some menuing. This is to set up the arrows that I talked about, and this is why I started as a Pyromancer, one of the bigger reasons. Because this game essentially has 3 different tiers of rolling, the fast roll, the mid roll, and the heavy roll, but what I'm able to do with the specific weight low setup, that means having specific items equipped, I'm able to basically get between exactly the fast roll and the mid roll. So the game thinks that I'm 0% into the mid roll because of floating point number errors, which essentially means that even though I'm supposed to be, you know, hitting the mid roll right now, the game thinks that I'm in the mid roll, but 0% into it. And what that allows me to do, it's a little bit more complicated. I actually have a video on it on my YouTube, but the point is that essentially I'll be able to chain rolls mid-air, and because the rolls give you iframes, invincibility frames, if I time everything correctly, I'm going to be able to go ahead and avoid full damage because the iframes are going to be activated during it. This is the Blighttown skip. It's one of the coolest skips in the run, or I should say in the game, really. And what you see me do is I do a little setup on the top of the elevator. This is to set up my last store position on top of the elevator. And then on the bottom, what I do is I make sure that I only touch the New Londo ruins for exactly like 1 to 4 frames. That is because the stored position has a 4-frame buffer, and it allows me to offset 2 different variables. And one of them is the last stored position. Oh, okay, we're good. And the second variable is, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the skip and then kind of continue explaining afterwards. Never mind, I'm just gonna
explain it again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it keeps track of your actual position and the last area you were in. And usually, most of the time, those 2 are synchronized, so your last coordinates are in the last area. But this setup that Kata did on the elevator allows you to desynchronize those 2 variables. So basically, the game stores Firelink Shrine as your, New Londo Ruins as your last area, but your actual coordinates are still in Firelink Shrine. And what that does is when the game loads, it's going to load New Londo Ruins first, except catalystz is still in Firelink Shrine, so nothing is going to be below his feet when he loads, and so he can just fall through. So that's what actually happened after the quit out.
And if you're wondering also why I survived, it's because I actually loaded mid-air. Okay, so these are going to be the air rolls right now. 1, 2, 3, boom. So if you're wondering why I survived after the initial quit out, it's because if you spawn mid-air, the game gives you a different kind of landing animation when you splatter on the ground. And that splatter animation gives you basically a little bit of a delay when you die. And during the delay, I can go ahead and quit out. The game still stores my position on the bottom, but at the same time I can survive. So it's kind of like the full control quit-outs that you might have seen in some of the runs. Also, this is like perfect quail out RNG, so that's really very lovely, yeah. That is really good.
Yeah, it is really fortunate that we get this specific animation. Honestly, the skip wouldn't work otherwise, and it's incredibly lucky that it just happens to be the case, because we don't have full control, we don't have the intelligence to use that spell, and even if we did, we wouldn't be able to cast it because we fall instantly. So yeah, the odds for the skip to work are incredible.
That's right. So now we're going to go ahead and purchase some of the items from the Rotten Cleric Petrus. He's going to offer me to purchase the Homeward spell, which is essentially a spell that takes you to the last bonfire, and kind of like the Homeward Bone that I just used. And also he's going to allow me to buy the Talisman, which is a spellcasting tool that allows me to... Well, I just said no, so I need to say yes to him the second time. There we go.
And may I cut in here for just a moment? We have a couple of large donations.
Give me just a second. This is something a little bit more important, but we'll be running to the final boss, and then we can give you time for sure. So here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna essentially perform a wrong warp glitch. I'm gonna perform the spell swap glitch first, which allows me to cast one spell with the animation of another spell, and I'm gonna cast the Homeward spell with the animation of the Fireball. So here, I'm gonna warp to Undead Parish. I'm gonna do some menuing, don't worry too much about that, it's not really a big deal. But, I'm gonna go ahead and try to cast the... There we go, first try, easy clap. So, what I do is cast the Homeward spell, which takes me to my last bonfire, but it has the animation of the Fireball spell, and the Fireball spell has a much quicker animation than the Homeward. So normally Homeward basically keeps you locked into the animation until you are warped to the area of your last bonfire. But with the Fireball, I'm able to go ahead and before the warp happens, I'm able to sit at the next bonfire, so I switched my last bonfire. At that point, the game gets very confused, and what ends up happening is it keeps track of where my last bonfire is, which is the Firelink Altar, which you opened up by ringing the bells, but it loses track of which spawn point to use when it warps me there. So it goes through a default, or I should say a fail-safe routine, which ports me to the first area, or I should say first spawn point on the list, which is the default position. And fortunately, the default position for the Firelink Altar is behind the closed gate to the Kiln of the First Flame, which is the last area of the game. So right now, we are approaching the last boss, and this is where we have time for some donations.
Perfect. First off, we have $200 from Catman Fan Club for our favorite Catman. And $100 from Distortion 2 saying, "Woo! Good luck with the run, Kata. Wish I could be there with you all. Maybe next year." Thank you so much for that $100 donation.
No, don't do that. Okay. So Gwyn is basically, like I said, it's the final boss fight, and essentially what I do is I roll the first attack and do a rolling attack. That allows me to go ahead and stagger him on the first hit of my move swap, because like I said, it hits in 2 hits. Unfortunately, I missed, so I didn't get the 2 hits from the first running attack, and I ended up getting only 1 of them, so that means I'm actually staggering him with the second hit. But fortunately, he seems to be AI broken, and there we go, he is AI looped. Which ending do we do? Okay, we do the cooler ending, which is the Dark Lords. Yeah, so I'm just running behind him, hoping to repeatedly stagger him, essentially. And that's time. Press the button. There we go. Ooh. Okay, so essentially, I'm able to sort of AI loop Gwyn while he's turning around and be able to stagger him repeatedly. Anyways, I went overestimate a lot because of Sensegate skip. I'm really sorry about that, but I appreciate all the generous donations. I appreciate everyone that has supported me. I'm very thankful to Captain for sitting down here, commentating with me. I'm appreciative of my crowd, of course, because you guys are great. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm going to be on the stream tomorrow in the Awful Games Relay. You don't want to miss that because it's always the highlight of ESA, or one of the highlights anyways. Keep on donating towards a great cause, and thank you so much for watching my run. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.